Ma'am.
There you go. There you go.
Howdy.
I like to tie off.
How you doing?
Did you get a head count?
Yeehaw! Hi and welcome to the Ruben Tuesday. My name is Ruben and this is my review for Concrete Cowboy. I don't actually have a fedora or a actual cowboy hat, so I've taken to use this one, which makes me look more something. It'll have to do.
Who are you?
Well, howdy folks, let me know in the comments below, were you excited to see this? I do love me some cowboy film.
Hey, get a count on those cows!
The last time I saw Idris Elba, he was fighting monsters.
He who aims with his hand has forgotten the face of his father.
A teenager discovers the world of urban horseback riding when he moves in with his estranged father in North Philadelphia. Caleb McLaughlin, can you say that without doing a in your throat? Caleb McLaughlin, the African-American actor, one of the four main actors from Stranger Things. He's a bit grown up and he plays the son of Idris Elba. Well, they're play father and son in this Concrete Cowboy film, which is based on a novel. I have to say, I wasn't sure what to expect going into this. I do love me some cowboy films. I highly recommend some old films like Unforgiven, Tombstone. The Man from Snowy River was one of my parents' favorites, and I grew up loving those sort of films. This is a film about horses, but it's also a film about growing up, estranged family members, and what it means to be a man, like choosing your life path. So there's a few themes that are going on throughout this film. I did really enjoy it, but you should know that it is, I'm not going to say a slow burn, it's just slow. So it doesn't like, it's not building up and then we have that crescendo. It's just a story that kind of tells its story at a nice pace. And so we have two worlds that are kind of butting heads here. We have the world of the son who is being expelled throughout his life, and so his mom sends him to live with his father, who's a cowboy. He has a horse. If you've seen the trailer, he has a horse in his house. He's that type of dude.
There's a horse in your house.
Their worlds clash because he sees a friend that is, you know, the kind of gang boy who lives on the streets. I have to say that story did do a little bit more than I expected it to do, even though it doesn't take away from the story for the most part. It just kind of throws the two worlds, you know, the kind of butting head stories that they like to contrast, they like to juxtaposition in films similar to this, in stories similar to this. So it shows the boy trying to be coming into this new world, and then you see him being pulled in another direction. I actually like the other direction because of the actor. You feel for him, you feel that you can see that he's in that world and he doesn't know how to get out of it. And I would have liked a little bit more from that world, but I understand why they didn't do that, because they didn't want to pull from the main story, which is basically this father and son story in amongst them loving horses. And I love me some horses. I've ridden a few in my life. My mother and I think my dad enjoys horses, but my mother particularly bonds with them. You see, we now understand that horses have so much more emotional range than, you know, we knew. Well, I knew many years ago. You know, I've seen people who have special needs that go and interact, and horses just love on them, and you see the emotional depth from horses. So I know that to be true, which I think is fantastic. And so the more we understand about horses, you know, you have films like The Horse Whisperer. I'm always engaged in something like that. So we have some incredible moments, some really like Horse Whisperer moments, like between boy and a boy and his horse, or a horse and his boy is more accurate. And we see a broken horse, we see a broken boy, and how they form a friendship. We see a broken father and a broken boy, and we see how they manage to kind of have a relationship and build. We do have character journeys, so it's like a character study on multiple platforms. It looks fantastic. It's just a gorgeously shot film. There were a couple of moments where they did something creative, which I didn't mind, like a particular shaky cam chase scene down a corridor, and that was okay. But really where this film shines in is like with the shots where families sitting around talking about the history and the culture that this film is really showcasing. That was, you know, the concrete cowboys, you know, in the city. We have real life modern day cowboys. It's also showcasing the fact that we did have black or African American cowboys. And coming from a person who grew up in South Africa, who lives in the UK, I'd never heard of this. So this was new to me. And so there's a conversation where they say that Hollywood kind of whitewashed, I guess, in color, the black African or black American cowboys out, and that kind of showcases, and I would say that to be true because I'd never heard of it. So it's a very interesting story and culture that way. I found that riveting, the stories that you hear around the campfire. At the same time, you're willing the father and son to rekindle, or you're willing the boy to kind of go in the right path, because you know the other path is probably going to get him killed, as we see in the film as it unfolds. You know, it shines a light on, you know, so many youths who end up in gangs, who end up dying. You know, that is the story for so many, and so to see another path being chosen, I thought that was fantastic. I thought Idris Elba as a cowboy was believable. Even from the beginning, you see him have that swagger, that walk. You'll know what I'm talking about. You know, having a kind of a cigarette, chewing, the way that they had interactions with the real cowboys. I believe if you watch at the end of the film, we'll see some of the actors were real cowboys, and so they have that juxtaposition of actors interacting with non-actors who are cowboys, if that makes sense. I thought that was a lot of fun. But for me, the person who stole this film was Caleb McLaughlin. Yeah, from Stranger Things, I liked his character, but in this, you really get the sense that he's taken on board being this character, and so you believe him heart and soul that he's going on this journey, that he feels betrayed by his mother, who's dropped him off at his father's. He's learning what it means to be a man. He feels like he doesn't really have a home. He doesn't really have a relationship with his father. He's been pulled in multiple directions. He wants to be a man. He also is just afraid. You get all of that from Caleb. I thought he was really great in this role. There isn't the emotional impact punch that I was hoping for at the end, but it's not really that type of film. There are emotional moments that you will feel for the horses, you will feel for their strange relationships, you'll feel for something that happens, but I wasn't left going, oh, no, I'm really sad, but I was like, that was a good film, it's shot well, it's acted well, the score was right, the cinematography was excellent. Decent film. I don't know that I will watch it again anytime soon, if that makes sense. That doesn't mean it's a terrible film. There's some films that you like a one and done film, but it still doesn't mean it's a terrible film. It's a good film. I'll give this a B+. I may watch it again, in a year's time, going, oh yeah, I didn't mind that horse film. If I was going to go and choose like my favorite horse film would be, well, cowboy films. Favorite horse film would be something like The Man from Snowy River. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.